When you are graphing coordinates, it is very important that you follow these steps. Number one, start at the origin. So you start at 0, 0, the origin. Then you're going to move left or right. So your horizontal movement is first. Your movement along the x-axis is first. Number three, then you move up or down. So once you move left or right, then you move up or down. That is your y-axis movement, your vertical movement. That comes second. Take a look at this coordinate. The x value, let me go ahead and grab the scribble tool. The x value tells you your left and right movement. Take a look at the x-axis. Do you see this arrow that goes to the right and this arrow that goes to the left? The x controls the left and the right movement. If you have a negative number, it means you'll move to the left. A positive number means that you'll move to the right. Now let's move over to the y value. The y value tells you whether you're going to be moving upwards or downwards. If you're moving upwards, that means you have a positive y value. If you have a negative y value, you're going to be moving downwards. So let's take a look at this first example. Example A. -3, +5. So I'm going to go ahead and switch colors, and I'm going to label X and Y, and I'm going to draw my arrows before I graph this coordinate. So the X is -3, and a -3 means that I'm going to move to the left, so I'm going to draw a left arrow above the -3. And then the Y value controls the vertical movement. So a +5 means that I'm going to be moving upwards, so I'll draw an upwards arrow. Now that I've done that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to increase the thickness so it's easy to form a dot. And then I'm going to start at the origin. So the origin is here at 0, 0. And then I'm going to go to the left 3, and then I'm going to go up 5. So from the origin, I go to the left 1, 2, 3, and then I go up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I plot my point. All right, now let's look at example B. So I'm going to change my thickness back to a normal thickness, and I'll use this color this time. +1, excuse me, means that we move to the right, and -4 means that we move down 4. So then I'm going to change the thickness, and from the origin, I'm going to be moving to the right 1 and then down 4. So I start at the origin. You always start at the origin. Go to the right 1 and then go down 1, 2, 3, 4, and mark your point. Okay, now let's move on to part C, or example C. So I'll change the thickness, and then first I need to record that a +5 for X means that I'm going to the right. A +5 for Y means that I'm moving upwards. So I'm going to be moving left 5 and then up 5 from the origin. So I'll change the thickness, and then from the origin, I move to the right 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then I move upwards 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I mark my point. All right, the next example. So I'll change the color, change my thickness, and draw my arrows. So -4 is the X value, and I'm going to be moving to the left since it's a negative. -1 is the Y value, and this means that I'm moving down because it's a -1. So I'll change the thickness, and then I start at the origin, and I'm going to move to the left 1, 2, 3, 4, and then I move downwards 1, and I mark my point. Okay, that brings us to 2, 0. So I'll go ahead and change my thickness and change the color, and then I'll draw my arrows. So the X value is a 2, a +2, so that means I go to the right. Then the Y value is 0, so that means that I do not go up or down. So I'm just going to cross out the up or down. Then I'll change the thickness, go back to the origin, and my directions say to go right, 1, 2, and then it says that I should not go up or down. So I can go ahead and mark my point because I don't have a direction for the y. 0 is neutral. I don't go upwards or downwards. All right, moving on to F. Let me change the color again, and then I'll change the thickness so I can draw in my arrows. So the x value is 0. So that means there is no left or right movement. So you do not move left or right. And then the y value is a positive. So that means I'm going to move upwards too. So I'll change my thickness. And then I'm going to start at the origin. And it says that I do not move left or right. And then I move up 1, 2, and I mark my point. Oops, I didn't mean to do that. Let me fix that. So I moved left or right 0 and then up 1, 2, and I mark my point.